Hi there, my name's Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. How are you all doing today? Today is Martin Luther King Day. So, much respect. And if you're at home, send me some questions. Let me see who we got here today. We've got Aaron Short. Today we got Jasper North. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Awesome stuff. David Belcher. I hope your week is off to a good start. The sun is finally making an appearance for the first time in weeks. Yes, I've seen some sun. It's that cold wind you've got to be careful of, right? Rosanna, how you doing? Thank you for moderating today. Always appreciate it. You got that spanner there. She's going to use it. David says, the Joyo 5.8 gigahertz wireless mic unit sounds terrible. I'm returning it. Should we talk about wireless systems today? I got a lot to say about those. Danny, how you doing? Cornwall, UK. Jasper says, just ordered an Uber for all my guitars. Why? You moving out? What's that all about? Where's 2, David? No 2 for you. No 2 for you. No 2 for you. I can't. When I type it, it sounds so much better than when I say it. Staley, what's up, buddy? Good to see you here. How's your Porta Capture working out? I actually just plugged it in. Did you know that the Porta Capture X8, this little thing here that I always talk about, you think that I invented this thing, right? Did you know this thing is also an audio interface? You can plug it into the computer. It shows up as a device. So you could, if you say, let's say you play fingerstyle acoustic guitar, you could turn it on, load up the guitar setting, add the reverb, and then plug it into your computer, select this as the capture device, have it on the table, and just sit and play guitar. You don't need, I mean, it won't be good for voice because it'll be too low. You have to, remember there's additional inputs, so you could plug like a little headset into this. Or you could just, if you're just playing guitar, that'd be amazing. I was actually just trying to set that up before I went live, but I couldn't figure out how to use the Apollo and this at the same time. If I wanted to just do a demo, if we could just grab this and throw it down and switch to this and play a bit and then put this back, I could do it right now, but I wouldn't hear anything through these headphones. That's the problem. Pretty cool stuff. Vic G, how you doing? Happy Martin Luther King Day, MLK. Julian, hey, everyone must be off today, right? It's good to see you all. Julian says, hey folks, Happy New Year to everyone. No, it's too late. You can't say Happy New Year after the 8th of January. You can't. Tell me what quote that is from. What TV show that's from. Staley has sun too. David's laughing. Yeah, it's today, Jasper. MLK today. Hi, Patsy. Staley loves the X8. I got to say, I saw your video where you compared it to your phone. The phone sounded awful. Absolutely terrible. It also had some interference, which you don't get with my phone, but that phone has a real problem with the audio. But the X8 was clearly different. You know what made me think though? This is important. I might make a video on this. By the way, today's video is brought to you by Soundhole Sniffer. Order yours today at teespring.com. Oh, Staley, Staley, come on, get out, get out, Staley, go. Why are you still there? Seriously, Staley, come on. Okay, thank you. Finally, you too can look like me. So order now. What was I saying? Yes, I want to make a video on this. The phone microphone compared to the Porta Capture stereo microphone compared to a Neumann recording microphone. The guitar retains its character, but they sound quite different, don't they? So when I saw your video of the phone versus the X8, the phone obviously has more mid-range because the X8 is capturing bigger mic capsules with stereo. So it sounds like the guitar has less mids, more bottom end, but it's just the microphones. So therefore, can you really trust YouTube demos and reviews? And I got to say, a lot of the time I do record guitars. I feel like they sound better when you record them up close and then listen back through the headphones. I'm not processing them, just the fact that the microphone is in front of the guitar and you're listening back like this. Whereas when you play the guitar in the room, you're hearing the reflections around the room, which is also a great thing, but it's not the same. And then the different microphones make a big difference as well. So David is laying in bed on a heating pad. Back is horrible today. Seeing the doctor tomorrow. So we send our condolences and get well wishes, David. I was going to make a joke. If 2.0 for the Quad Cortex comes out right now, I bet you'll get off that bed. No, I bet you won't. And I bet it won't come out anyway. Sorry, guys. We're all waiting for that update. So excited for the new Universal Audio Sphere DLX. Can't wait to get my hands on it. Yeah, I talked about it in the news. Have you seen my new news episodes? They go out on Friday afternoons. Please check them out and leave comments on them. I'd really appreciate it. There's not that much gear news around the internet, so also feel free to share it. I'd appreciate that too. But I said in that video, if I didn't own 3 really nice Neumann mics, I would buy one. Or at least try one. Try and buy. They're the same word, aren't they? I bet it'll be great. I can't wait to see what people think about it. If you get one, please let us know, hear what it's like. But at the minute, I'm on a cull, a gear cull, not a gear acquisition. But I'm sure it's great. I love the UA stuff. I love being in the ecosystem as well. So it's a nice thing. But yeah, the Apollos. The one thing with the Apollo is I feel like the headphone out is a bit weak. Like with these headphones, I have to have them at maximum and they still could use about 2 more dB. If you set all the gains exactly right, all your levels exactly right, it's okay, it's fine. But I would like to be able to set my levels a little bit on the low side and still be able to boost the headphones. Obviously not too much, I don't want to go deaf. Oh, I've got to tell you today what happened at the voice doctor this week. I'll do that later. I want to be able to set the headphones a little bit louder without having to crank everything in the thing. So I don't know, what I am looking for is something that I could plug into my headphones before it goes into the interface that will just allow me to add dB without coloring or messing up the sound, without adding any hiss. Basically a headphone amp. But a lot of headphone amps, you have to run the output of your device into them and then plug into that. I don't want to do that. I just want something in line that I can use just to raise the level a little bit. But I don't know if that exists. So there's always something, isn't there? That's the thing with this stuff. There's always something. But yes, I agree. That looks really cool. They make some good stuff. David can't stand up. I hope you feel better soon, buddy. Staley figured that out. I need more time to play with it. It's so good. Make sure you put the latest firmware on there because it does load up a little bit quicker, and that all makes a difference when you're working, you know. YZ, any updates or recent gigs with your Quad Cortex? So I don't have a Quad Cortex at the moment. My whole thing was when 2.0 comes out, I might get one. Now, the thing about that is I'm on a gear cull. So if I do get one, I'll be selling the Kemper and the HX Stomp. So I don't know if it's going to happen. But I mean, I haven't got much faith in them. Like it sounds really good and everything, but And I don't want to be a whinger. I don't want to be like, oh well, they're not working hard enough. Oh, where is it? Oh, I don't want to be. That's not fair. But I do think they keep messing up by saying it's coming in a few days and then it doesn't come out. You know, I don't know why they do that. Julian says, sorry, in Germany we are all a little late. I know it's late. Well, it's late there, isn't it? I'll have my replacement Enya X4 Pro tomorrow. First one was picked up today. Oh, he's getting a replacement of the guitar. That's one thing people don't talk about, this gear thing. So often we get gear and it's got a problem. We have to box it up. We have to ship it back. We have to get the replacement. It takes up a lot of our time, doesn't it? So, yeah, and you can help me with that. But that should probably be a live stream in itself. Should I keep, or should I use a real amp and pedals and go into a aux box, or I really need a digital solution because I need to be mobile. Should I keep the Kemper and the Kemper cab and use that for all my digital needs? Should I use the HX Stomp? Doesn't have enough not enough switches and things. Or should I use Quad Cortex? I need to know, I need to make a decision. I can't have everything. I need to pick one. And same with the amps. I got 2 amps. Do I need 2 amps? Should I sell my 100-watt amp here and the aux box? Do I need all that? Should I just have one combo amp? I haven't played a real amp in months. So I'm trying to get down to like, I'm trying to reset, get back down to stuff that I actually need. It's really hard to do because what happens with me is I think, well, I won't sell this because what if next week I get a call to go on tour and I need this? It's not going to happen, right? I'm not going to be going on tour with a 100-watt amp. So realistically this year, what's going to happen? I'll be playing solo shows. I need my Voice Live 3 and I've got a Voice Live 3 backup. That's justified. I've got a couple of play acoustics as well. I think that's justified. That's my job, right? If I get called for a band gig, what am I going to do? But I'll save that for another time. Yeah, I think it'd be a great video, Staley, because you know we listen to these guitar demos and things. I'm not saying that they're. Is my audio in sync? Oh yeah, it says it is. We watch these guitar videos, and I'm not saying that people do. Well, some people do. Some people do go in and EQ them and add reverb and compression. That's one thing, but the microphone makes such a big difference. I'm not saying either that a $3,000 mic will sound better than the Porta Capture. It may not, but it might sound different. What you hear might not be representative because the mic is adding another layer that you're not hearing in the room. Right? It's the same with modelers, isn't it? It's the same with the Kemper. You're hearing the mic that was used on that profile. You're not hearing the amp that was in the room. It's exactly the same thing. And then a lot of guitarists will argue, well, I never hear the amp in the room. I live in an apartment and I play on big stages, so I never hear the amp. And I have the same argument about the acoustic guitar. I never hear, and I think a lot of acoustic guitarists don't think like this. You don't hear, when do you hear your acoustic guitar? When you're in your bedroom. Like the minute you get into a big room full of people talking, you don't hear that guitar. And if you do, it's not a very good experience, is it? But you hear the pickup, and that's a similar thing. The pickup is like the mic. It is a mic often. So you hear the pickup. You're not hearing the guitar anyway. So I don't really hear my acoustic guitar acoustically at all. Last week I played with the pickup all the time. I heard the pickup. I didn't hear the guitar. So, Kevin, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Got a question here from Jasper. Ever played in A432 Hertz, 432 Hertz? They say it sounds awesome. I tried it. Yeah, I read that too. I tried it. Might not be that number. It's whatever number is supposed to open the gates or something. No, I don't know, but I tried it. You see, with stuff like that, I'm feeling very matter of fact today. So take this with a pinch of salt, and you'll understand why when I tell you about the week when I went to the voice doctor. You try stuff. I'm sorry. I'm not being rude. I try stuff like that, and this is what happens. Oh wow, yeah. Oh, it does. Oh, it does sound good. Oh yeah, I like this. I think it sounds better. Yeah, this is great. Oh, hang on though. What's going to happen when I go and jam with someone, or someone sits in at the gig? It's going to be terrible, right? And I've got to recalibrate any tuner that I use. I can't be bothered. Now, I used to say that about drop tuning. I can't be bothered. But lately I've been playing Everlong, which is drop D, and Coldplay with the original tuning, which is a drop high E by a half step and a drop D by a whole step. I just still feel the same way. It's a complete pain in the rear end. But the thing is that I feel like it's worth it because those songs sound really good. So I don't mind doing it. And there's ways around that as well. Like you should probably start the second set with yellow, so you've actually tuned for it, and then you go into it. You know, even tune up at the end of the first set, and then retune quickly the second set, and then play it, and then go back to normal. And with Everlong, it's just one string going down, so you could do Everlong, and then Breakfast at Tiffany's, and then another song in D, and then tune it back up. That's not much work to do that. So yeah, I mean, try it. That's just my opinion. That's the only reason I'm here, to give my opinion. It's nighttime in Finland. It's nighttime in lots of places. Is the background rosewood or mahogany? It's actually a carbon fiber, which is painted to look like wood. But since you're not here, it doesn't matter, does it? Because you can't smell it anyway. Maybe not a good comparison, says Vic. Have you tried the Shure MV88 mic attachment for iPhone? Yeah, I think a long time ago. I think I sent it back. Because it's a lot of this stuff is the size of the mic, isn't it? Like a phone mic will never be as good as this mic, and a phone's camera will never be as good as this DSLR. But does it matter? Someone can make an amazing video and get loads of views, and I get no views on this DSLR. Someone could make an amazing song with a phone mic, and I could make a terrible song with this mic. It's all relative. But the big, generally in technology at the moment, still, the bigger the thing, the better it is. All right, the bigger the light, the better. The bigger the lens, the better. The bigger the mic grill, the better, generally. But that thing's portable. You might like it. The other thing is, again, talking matter of fact, like I think that stuff is great and the phone is more powerful than this is. But what happens then is you're using it and you think, oh, I want to use my phone. So the great thing with this is you can still use your phone and you can control it with your phone, but then you can go back to using your phone as a phone. Study says add that as an extra profile. Yes, you can add profiles. Good point. Can you plug your guitar in, or sorry, can you add reverb to these mics for the acoustic guitar and then plug in a headset like this and not have reverb and then send that out to the computer and use that like I am today? I do have a noise gate I like though. I would lose that. But I don't really need it because this mic is so directional. Audiophile headphone amp. Problem is, David, that'll be like $1,000, won't it? I don't want to spend. I just want a little tiny thing that plugs into power and goes before the headphones. It just lets me add like 10 dB or something. That's all I want. What's up, Doc? Luis, hi Aaron. Will you do a video review on the Boss RC600? What are your impressions now? I was actually thinking about that yesterday because I was reading that someone said it's a lot better now from the firmware. And I thought, I should probably get it out and do that, actually use it. I deliberately have not used it because I saw so many complaints on the firmware. When I tried it out, it was fine for me, but I was only doing very basic stuff. But I saw so many complaints. I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to wait until people start saying online that it's working great and added some features and firmware updates, and then I'll review it. So probably should do that soon. Do you know when the last update was? I'm going to take a look now. Boss RC 600. I do feel bad that I haven't made content on it, but I just know what will happen. It's kind of a waste of time, isn't it, to make videos on something where there'll then be big firmware updates. I mean, I know it happens, but not only that, also the fact I heard there's a lot of bugs and things. I don't want to spend my time on something that's buggy. They're currently on version 1.21. Yeah, so mine was like 1.06 or something. That came out September 22. So I'd like to see another one really before I do a video. So when I got it, it was version 1.04 in November. Then there was 1.10, 1.12, 1.2, and 1.21. I might wait until we see 1.3. I'd like to see 2.0 for that, but I don't know if we'll ever see that. So we'll see. Doctor says don't sell the Kemper. I know, that's probably the Kemper, and the Kemper cab is probably the most realistic and practical solution because the foot switches are well laid out. It's got all the features, all the practical features anyway. It hasn't got like the mic input and everything, but it's got all the profiles available. Yeah. I was watching a live stream the other week and someone said to the guy, should I buy a Kemper Stage? And he said, I can't tell you why because of contracts and things, but he said you should wait. So what does that mean? Is there another Kemper coming out? Or I think there's definitely either another Kemper coming or another guitar processor like the Kemper coming soon. And I don't know what it is. But the only thing about the Quad Cortex is I like the idea of having everything in that little box And you can even plug your mic into it as well if you need to. With the Kemper, it's literally just for your electric guitar, right? Amazon makes it easy. The end you're saying surprisingly good. Yeah, I look forward to for your review. And yes, Amazon do make things. Amazon are great. Amazon Sweetwater are great customer service and returns, definitely. But it's still your time. That's my point. I was alluding to the fact that a lot of stuff that I've reviewed on here, I've had to deal with that with, or let's say haven't reviewed because there's been a problem, a thing, a change. Remember the Sonic Cake pedal? They sent another one. This one is okay. So I'm going to do. Let me know in the chat if you want me to. Shall I do the giveaway? No, actually, no. Don't let me know. I have to do the giveaway. That was our agreement. So look out for that coming soon. It is. I tell you what. No, I'm not going to tell you because then you won't watch the video. But there's going to be a Sonic Cake video, hopefully this week or next week with the giveaway. David likes 432 for the guitar and voice. Really? Over 440? So now tell me you tuned to that for your gigs. I won't. You know, I can't believe it. Harvest Moon, but I do Harvest Moon in C because Harvest Moon is. I like to sing it in C. I know it's in D originally. I'm bad. I've been learning some songs. Let me grab this one here. Of course, what I can do is I can plug it in. That's the other option. I never actually learned Harvest Moon. I know it's in. Actually, I don't know it. I just decided I would sing it better in C. I know it sounds terrible because you're hearing that. Let me turn off the. It's the noise gate. Noise gates, you'll know this from guitar as well. Noise gates are so great for removing the noise, obviously, but they mess up acoustic instruments. So obviously, they're not going to take the sound out between every finger pick, are they? So let me take this out. I don't really need a noise gate with this headset because it's so, like I said, it's so directional. Let's see what it sounds like with the gate off. Yeah, you just hear a little bit of background noise, right? So a friend of mine, he said, who comes to my shows, he said, I knew he liked Harvest Moon. So I just felt like around this position, because I wanted to sing it in C. All right. Although I haven't tried singing it in D, so maybe I can, and I think it would sound better in D. And like I said earlier, if you learn it in D, then you will be able to leave the guitar in drop D from the other song that you played in drop D. So that's a good point. R.D. King plays most of his songs in drop D. He's signed with Candy Rat. I don't know who R.D. King is. But drop D is such a great thing to tune in because it gives you that big sound, doesn't it? Let me plug this in. Let's see if this works. I'm just going to mute input 1 so I don't make any noise. See if it comes through. Oh, I muted it. Oh, it's muted here. I see. Okay. Let me know if that sounds alright. I haven't set it up properly, but that's actually easier than using the Porta Capture as a second device. But yeah, I always learnt it there. I didn't learn it there. I did that at the gig in order to play the song. But it doesn't sound as good as the like the low E would sound, right? So this is horrible. I can't even figure it out. Oh. It's up there. That's why. But yeah, the great thing about the drop D, if you don't play guitar, is that you just get that lovely... Can you hear this guitar? Let me turn it up. Super quiet, I don't know why. I don't know what I've done. But yeah. It gives you that lovely rich... So the thing is, like, I don't mind suddenly going into guitar talk, but why not? It's just a nice change, especially if you don't play guitar. A song like that would not work any other way, right? I guess Harvest Moon kind of works. What I did earlier, it kind of works. You get away with it, but a song like this is depending on the. I would hate to try and play this without that. I'd hate to play it without that. The other ones you can kind of get away, you can kind of get around it somehow. But then yellow, I only used to detune the high string for that, and there was always something missing. And once I detuned the third string as well, it just completely. I think it sounds so much better. Of course it did, because it sounded more like the original, right? Background looks like cedar. I hope not, because it will ding. I was going to say oak, possibly. That's a great... I forgot what we were talking about now, sorry. Update on the Boss AD10 acoustic preamp we talked about a couple of weeks shows. Yes, I remember that. You were asking for my recommendations on the acoustic preamp. I found a good deal on one like new. I can dial a nice sound, my first Boss product. Made really nice, lots of options. Yeah, it's good. I just prefer the TC stuff myself. Just my opinion. Oh, David says AD10 is my main device on my acoustic board. Using it for years. Okay. I don't think I've tried that one. I tried the other one that does the vocal harmonies. The thing about me is I always aim for the all-in-one devices. So I don't really want to take a vocal processor and a guitar processor, because not that I'm lazy, it's just that space is limited for me, and it means having 2 power supplies, more patch cables. And the thing is, for me, the Voice Live 3 Extreme exists, so that's just what I've been using. I really like the fact that it has battery option for open mics. Well, yeah, that is useful, I suppose. The Voice Live 3 does not have battery option. Do you think Boucher makes the best sounding guitars these days? They are the most expensive. Do we all want one? No. Well, who's saying they're the best? Whose opinion is that? I think this is a great guitar. So I've been thinking about this a lot lately. What is the best sounding guitar I've ever played? And did any of them sound like the guitar in my head? No, probably not. And then one more thing is the application of what that guitar is for. So I use the Cole Clark right now the most of all the guitars because it works so well live. The action has been set super low because it was a little bit on the high side to start with, believe it or not. And I found that after the shows I was getting some pain in my hand because I played for 4 hours, right? So all I did was I was actually someone did it for me, but you can do it yourself. Just had this lowered, the saddle just sanded down. And he did it really well, but it's right on the cusp, you know. And the problem is in the winter the guitar dries out as well. So when the summer comes and the guitar's tops rises, it'll probably be perfect. And this is why some people have 2 saddles. But the thing about that right now is that if it gets a little bit too dry, say it's dry one day and it drops a little bit, that guitar can start to, on that note, it can start to fret out. So, but it's only starting to, and I feel like it's worth it because then everything else is so easy to play. And now I can play 4 shows in a row and have 0 pain. It's crazy how the setup makes that much difference. It's really, really important. And this is a guitar, remember, this is a guitar, I can play my own background music. This is a guitar that most people say comes with a low action in the first place and is designed for stage. But I took it down even lower. And for me it's worth it because that is now the perfect tool for that job. Acoustically it doesn't sound very impressive, unfortunately. But how can it sound impressive? Because everything about it is designed to sound that way. It's designed to have the hardest wood to be the best guitar on stage, to take the most rigorous playing and pounding on. That's the whole point of it. It's not made to be good sound acoustic. You can't have both in that respect. So that's an important thing to bear in mind with that guitar. Now acoustically, I don't know. Let me think about it. I mean, one of the Martins. You know, not as much of a Martin fan I am. Not all Martins have impressed me, but there's some Martins and a couple of the ones I have that I just think sound really good to my ear and for what I'm looking for. Of course, bigger guitars have more bass, and smaller guitars have more of a focused sound, which can suit certain things. I haven't played a Boucher. I've played a lot of other guitars. I've played Santa Cruz. I've played Husson Dalton. Husson Dalton's that I played sounded really good. But I don't know. I'm not. The other thing about the Martins is I like the feel of the neck. I've decided. I also really like the feel of this neck. This N1 neck I much prefer over the N2. Yeah. So that's yeah. And the Cole Clark neck is not my favorite neck of the 3, but it works for me, and I've gotten so used to it because I play it so much. So that's a tough question. I mean, I haven't played one, but I'd have to say I do have a guitar here which is a great sounding guitar. I won't tell you which one is the best sounding. I'm still deciding, but I definitely have it. I would like to try the Boucher, but I don't know. I always say on here I like the name brands, even though I know they're made in factories and they're made in large numbers. I'm still of that mindset, and I think it's not a good thing, but it is what it is. Staley says, I'll circle back for the replay versus show. I need to get outside while I can. Cheers, friends. Hope you're all well. Thanks, buddy. The best one is one that matches your voice. I never felt that way. Because again, the reason is I always play plugged in. And because I always play plugged in, I can adjust the EQ anyway. Right? I can adjust the bass. I can adjust the mids for my voice. I rarely play acoustic. And even if I play acoustically, and I'm recording, I can still EQ in the DAW in the computer recording software. And if I'm playing acoustically at home, I've never felt like a certain guitar I could sing over it better. Never felt that. But maybe the listener could hear that more than me, you know. I'm just trying to figure out why this guitar is so low output. I'm not sure what's going on. I have to put the this Apollo stuff really confuses me sometimes, so I have to set it for certain things. Maybe I need to reinstall it or something, because I've got like 56 decibels of gain on this input right now for this guitar. To make it the right level. This mic is also the same. Maybe I need to use the pad. No, I don't know. And then on the headphone amp, that's at 100%, which sounds crazy, right? Like everything's basically 100%, and I feel like that's normal for me to have the volume that I want. But yeah, I tell you what, let me know in the chat if you've played in Drop D. Let's talk about Drop D. I'll finish today with the talk about my voice. But if you haven't played in Drop D, just tune your low E string to the D note. And then just play an open D chord. I mean, straight away it just makes the open D sound better, right? And then learn, here's a song that I've just learned that's just awesome. Everlong by the Foo Fighters. Very easy to play because it's just 2 fingers most of the time, or 3 fingers, like a bar like that, partial bar. So easy to play, but it sounds so cool. With the palm muting. And look, it's just literally those 3. That's the cool thing. That's why all the grunge bands use this tuning. Everything sounded good. Everything sounded better because it sounds richer. So it's really refreshing too when you've been playing this all day long. David, give me some more songs in Drop D, because it'd be good to have some more. I know I've got Everlong, obviously. Keep playing it. I've got that down, the whole song. Breakfast at Tiffany's. So you have to do that on the G, because that G here has been lowered to, so you got to bring it up to. So you just do that. But the cool thing then in the chorus is you can go. Because when you're playing solo, you don't get that kind of bass. If you're just playing in a D chord, you don't have any bass there, do you? Your lowest note on a D chord is the D. But now my lowest note is this drop D. Oh. Yeah, I can't sing that though. Oh, this will change. I mean, I could sing it an octave lower, which actually might be quite cool. So we've got Dead or Alive, Going to California. I don't know that one. What else is in Drop D? I mean, you can take any song that's in open D and put it into Drop D. Like 500 Miles, if you don't want to sing it in E, you could do it in Drop D. And still have that nice low one. I knew Jasper would have one by Jason Isbell. Jasper's a big Jason Isbell fan. Yeah, I don't know many more. But for me, this is the This is my quintessential drop D song right now. Love it. Sounds so good. Sounds so nice. All right. Cover Me Up by Jason Isbell. I'll listen to these later. This is good. Quentin says, play a C chord which has 2 E notes, pick it backwards, and the open E sounds terrible. Why? Well, you're not supposed to play that one, that's why. Like this. That's a bit of a bugbear for me when people do that. Alright. What you're supposed to do is, I mean, not in all situations. There's situations where you want that. You call that C/E. That would be really nice if you're walking up to something like... That'd be nice there, but if you just say your song starts on a C, you always want the lowest note to be the C, right? Which is here. Oh, I played it. Don't play the low string, because the low string's an E, and we're playing a C, so we want the lowest note to be C in most situations, not E. So what I do is I put my thumb over the top and I mute it, and then I can strum as much as I want. Because what you're getting there is nothing. You're still getting that clicky sound. Some people might say it's best just to strum and not to strum like this and not hit that note, or mute, just don't hit it. But what if you do hit it? Then you're going to get that sound, right? But it really drives me crazy when people do when they're meant to be playing this. And they do this. And it's the same with like an open A as well. You want the A to be the lowest note. Not the E. Right? So yeah. The thumb around the top there is the best thing ever. I love that. So that's Quentin. That's why two E's are not good on a C chord. Oh, 5 o'clock somewhere's in drop D. I didn't know that. I want to learn that song too. That's cool. Try double drop D, tune the others, you'll love it. Yeah, I have, but again, then I've got to think. The problem with that is I've got to think more, haven't I? Because then rather than think when I play a G, I've got to do that. I tune back. Rather than think I've got to do that, I've got to do that on both strings. And then you get into dadgad, then you've got to change all your fingering positions. That's the problem. When you just drop the D, if you're at a gig and you just go like this, that doesn't take any time. But to retune all your strings takes time. And by the way, I didn't do this today deliberately to advertise Rainsong. I'm not working for Rainsong. But a cool thing about this guitar is if you do that, if you do a lot of alternate tunings and you go back to standard, the other strings tend, I won't say 100%, but they're much more stable at staying in tune. Whereas on some guitars, when you mess around with the tuning, all the other strings will drop a bit because you've lost the tension in the neck. Because this neck is so solid, you can drop down to drop C and back again. It's still in tune. So that's a nice thing about carbon fiber that you wouldn't get otherwise. We do Bonnie Raitt song in drop D, double drop D. Your Love starting today. Oh, there's loads here. Okay. Many Neil Young songs are open E. Well, that's cool because then you can just strum a chord like playing. Just use one finger. The Bee Gees did that. Everything was tuned to an open chord, and they just used one finger for most things, or one or two fingers. Quentin says, but with a D with an open A sounds fine. Well, actually, it doesn't. See, I'm still using the thumb, but I'm doing both bottom strings. So I'm getting click, click, string. Otherwise, it's this. It's okay. I think it's better than this because that's such a low note. Yeah, a lot of mud there, right? Whereas with the D, not quite as much mud, but you've still got an inversion of the chord. It's not it's not using the root note as the main note. So, you know, again, if you're doing that's a lot cleaner to me than, you know. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, you can also, you know, you can do whatever you want, but I think it's good to get used to playing the chords with the lowest note, the root note, in the bass, and not other notes if you don't intend to. So C, D, E is easy because you can just hit everything. G is easy because it's on the lowest string. A, mute the low string. B7, mute the low string. So I think it's good to be able to do it both ways. Hi Mick, how you doing, buddy? I always get an itchy nose around this time. In your honest opinion, what do IR pedals sound like for live solo acoustic musician? LR Bags, Voice Print, Nux, Air, or Ultimate Air or Tone Dexter? Well, I don't use them. I just use a guitar with a great... Actually, this, I gotta say, this sounds good, doesn't it? This is the Anthem in here. For me, this holds up against the Cole Clark, but it doesn't have as much of the body sound. It does on this guitar, because this is a big open, empty guitar. Big old box of carbon fiber. But on most wood guitars, it doesn't have the same kind of body sound that something like the Anthem has. So here's the thing. I am supposed to do a video where I show a certain way of using the IRs that worked for me. It did work. I found a way to use the IRs that worked for me at gigs. So I'm going to make that video at some point. But to just whack an IR on a guitar and go out and play a gig with it, I don't think it works at all. Not for me anyway. So I'd rather tell you to get like a Cole Clark or a nice guitar with a Bags Anthem in it and just use that for now until IRs get more refined for live performance. Push the strings above the sound hole before retuning. Oh, this thing. Yeah, but the point on this guitar, you don't need to. On this guitar, everything's very, very, very solid. Shine by Collective Soul is in low D. Okay. The Centennial Martin D18, is that exclusive? I've heard about the Centennials. I don't think that was exclusive, but I don't think they made very many of them. Or is that, unless that's a new model I haven't heard about. Andrew says if it's a fifth, it's okay, rather than the third, i.e. the E with the C, because the E is the third of C. Well, I'd say the D sounds better, but it's still, listen. It's an inversion that makes you want to resolve, right? You feel like you're kind of floating, you're hovering a bit. Whereas if I play the D in the bass, finished, right? That's the chord. We're done. If I play the A in the bass, kind of waiting to go to this. So I would argue, and for a friend of mine who's not here today, thankfully, used to tell me to not to do that. He's the one that used to tell me not to play that. So I would just say that, you know, if you want to play a D to start a song, I think you should play a D. Unless you want to play an A in the bass. And if you want to play a C, you should play a C. And if you want to play an A minor, you should play an A minor. And if you want to play a D minor, you should play a D minor, not a D minor with an A in the bass. Unless you want that sound, right? But I agree, the fifth sounds cleaner than the third, but it's still an inversion. So Quentin says, I always play the open A with a D and never the... Oh, I'm getting confused now. I always play the open A with a D and never the open E with a C. Oh, you play... Okay, I get it. You always play that. Right, but just, you know, if it sounds right for that song, it's fine. I'm being finicky here. When you do put the A there, you're putting the fifth in the bass. You're making an inversion. It's not a D anymore. It's not just a... And that does sound cleaner, right? Like if you're going to play Crazy Little Thing Called Love, versus this. It's adding more mud. It's not as clean. And technically, if they say play a D, you play this, not this, because that's a D/A. So I'm being very I can't think what the word is there, but you know, I think it's good to practice playing a D just as a D. Practice playing all the chords with the root note in the bass, and then change the root note if you want to, like a D with an E in the bass. All right, that's in the song that I do. I can't think what it is right now. Oh, it's in Tiny Dancer when I do it in G. For that part of the song in Tiny Dancer, that's a great sounding chord. But for the start of Crazy Little Thing Called Love, I want to hear that. So, Free Falling starts on the third. Starts on that because it wants that tension, right? Straight away you're like tension, release, right? Free falling, tension, release, tension, release. It could be no tension. That's if you're John Mayer, of course, not Tom Petty. Have I ever tried singing with a half step down? Nothing wrong with performing solo. Yeah, a lot of people do it in Nashville to help their voices because they sing every single night for hours, 8 hours a night. So, I don't do it because it would cause a problem with jamming. It can make the guitar sound richer and easier to play as well. But there's something about standard tuning that's just punchy. It's like the difference then between a triple O guitar and an OM guitar. You know, the short scale guitars, you have that more floppy sound, but you haven't got that tight sound. So it depends what sound you like. But a lot of people do that, especially performers. John says, I actually meant to say drop D and not open D. There's a whole video there about songs in drop D, right? I should do. Have I tried the Dowena acoustic? I haven't. I have not. Let me tell you what happened to the Voice Doctor. So, it was very good. I'll put my noise gate back on. So the voice doctor that I go to is fantastic, right? She's in the city, and she's the one that I went to before. 1 second, there we go. Right, she's the one I went to before. Can you even tell that I put the noise gate on? It just gets rid of some of the mouth noise and stuff. So this is the voice doctor I went to before, and I didn't particularly need to go last time, but I just wanted to see what was up with my voice because my falsetto was weaker than I wanted. My falsetto used to conk out. I never knew why. Ooh, never knew why that happened. And I just ended up not using it. And I thought, well, I want to go there and see. And she said I had too much yeast in the body, put me on this diet, which I called the singer's diet. It's actually just a candida diet, right? It basically, you cut out all yeast and sugar, so you can't grow any more yeast in your body. And it sounds weird if you haven't heard this before. And it worked. I lost 10 pounds. I felt great. I went from 240 to 228. I felt great. My voice did seem a bit better, but not perfect. And as you know, last week I had a problem in my left ear. Felt like I'd done something to my ear. I was worried that I'd damaged my hearing with the in-ear monitors. So a few things about that. First of all, I hadn't been cleaning the in-ear monitors, which is disgusting. So I did give them a clean and actually replace them, the tips. And I'm going to make a video how to clean your in-ear monitor. I didn't even think about it. So I'll definitely make that video at some point. How to clean and maintain your in-ear monitors, because I use them all the time. So I did clean them. And I went to see her, and she looked in my ears and she said to me, the right ear is fine. I thought she was going to say your ears are full of wax and water, because I take long showers and I use a lot of Q-tips every single day, right? So I thought she was going to say your ears are full of stuff and we need to clean them out. She said your right ear is perfectly clean and clear and perfect. I was like, really? But I use Q-tips all the time. She said, well, your ear canals, everyone's ear canals are different. So your ear canals are very small and they go up. And she said, if you swim, I don't know if this is true. Well, she's a doctor. If you swim in cold water, as a child, your ear canals are small as an adult. I'd never heard that before. So anyway, I said, well, I used to swim, not a lot as a young child, but we had a pool in our town, you know. So anyway, that was great news. Then she went on to the left ear, which left ear was the one that was a problem. Lee, how you doing? The left ear was the one that was a problem. So she pulled out a little bit of wax, but nothing major, just like literally there was a piece in there and just like, boop, took it out. So I don't think that was the problem either. She said that ear was clean as well after she'd finished. And I said, well, why am I getting this pain? She said, can you hear in your left ear? I said, yeah, fine. I don't feel like I've got hearing loss in my left ear. I don't think so. I said, let me schedule a hearing test anyway, because the only way to really figure that out is by having a hearing test. So I'm going to schedule a hearing test to be absolutely sure. But she said it's probably just like a pulled muscle or something when you're singing, because you're singing so much. Probably just the jaw. So I said, okay, well, I hope so. That'd be great. And I actually haven't felt anything there for the last few days. Today I can feel it a little bit. It kind of comes and goes. So apparently that's probably a muscle thing. And then I said, okay, that's great. So while I'm here, can we do another vocal scope? So she's got the long wand that goes in your mouth and looks down into the vocal cords. And she showed me on the computer. Actually, I could show you. I haven't got it right in front of me. I've got a picture of it, so you can see the cords. Actually, why don't I bring it up? I think it'd be. Let me see if I can send it to myself. Let me email it to myself and bring it up. So she said to me about the. I mean, I can't do two things at once, unfortunately. Okay, I've got it here. I'm sure you're interested in seeing a picture of my vocal cords, right? All the singers watching. Or is it too disgusting? You let me know, and I won't show it. So she scanned it, and she said they look. She said again, they're a bit sticky. They've got a bit of yeast. You can tell by your tongue. Your tongue's got some white stuff on it, and your cords have. You can see on the monitor that there's some stickiness. And what that I said this in the old video I did. That stickiness makes the cords not work as efficiently. And that, of course, when you're singing really high falsetto, what happens with that is, when you're doing that, they're going like this. They're going like millions of times a second, right? They're flapping like delicate little things. And, of course, if they've got gunk on them, and you try to do that, they can't move. It's just like anything else, right? They can't move through the gunk. That's exactly what happens. So she said it's not too bad, but you've got some more yeast again. I don't think it ever really went away. That was the problem. And she said there's a little bit of redness on the bottom. And I said, well, I did do 4 4-hour gigs in a row last week. And she said, really? I'm surprised they're not worse. And I said, well, that's good to hear. But how do I avoid that completely? She said, that just means you pushed too much. And I said, yes, I know I pushed too much because last week I was trying to sing the 3-part harmony to Eleanor Rigby. And the highest, Paul McCartney's part, goes up to an A. And I usually struggle going up to a G. So an A for me is high and I was getting it. But I probably pushed when I was practicing. So the fact that I tried to sing a song out of my range, or I don't say out of my range, the fact that I was challenging myself and the fact that I did 4 4-hour gigs in a row, I think they look great for that. And again, let me know if you want to see that on the screen or not. So then she said, well, you could do that that plan again. You could do that diet again. She calls that cleanse. And I said, hang on. I said, you know what? I said, put me on that cleanse. It's so funny. Like, put me on the cleanse because I've been really struggling lately. I need to lose some weight. Like, I've been gaining weight again. I lost a load of weight after lockdown. I'm gaining it again. Can't get motivated. I said, tell me to do the cleanse because when you tell me to do the cleanse and book me in for a follow-up appointment, I will do it. And I have done. I've stuck to it ever since. So I'm doing the cleanse again. And I have to say, I do feel clearer today. My voice, I can still hear some stuff in there, obviously. Some people do this, I think, for 6 weeks. But it's definitely clearer than it has been. And more importantly, I feel better as well, which is really important. So I'm doing that again. I'll be going to see her next Tuesday for the follow-up. I've got a few pills as well, like to help with that. So I'll be going to see her next Tuesday, and I'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's really important, you know, if you sing, it's really important to have a good ENT and have your chords scanned occasionally and actually see what's going on with them. And it's so obvious. I said to her, the other thing is I felt much better at singing lately because I've been using a tongue scraper. And she said, yeah, well, any of that yeast that you're removing that is not making its way into the chords is beneficial. Whatever's on your tongue doesn't work its way onto the chord directly. That doesn't happen, right? When you drink water, it doesn't touch the chords. They're hidden away to protect them. But what will happen is if there is that yeast on your tongue that makes its way, because of gravity, into the body, that will find a way back onto the chords. And same with water. You drink a lot of water, it doesn't wash the chords, unfortunately, but it accumulates and comes through the body and then works its way through and it ends up in the chords, hydrating them and therefore getting rid of some of that mucus. And then the only thing that actually, just one more thing, the only thing to actually improve the chords is steam. Steam goes right on the chords. So I should be steaming twice a day as well, because that would actually completely clean the chords. It's really, I find it fascinating. I find it really interesting. Online Hustle Dad says the low carb diet. That's basically what it is. Yeah, it's basically like doing keto. So I'm just having like eggs, bacon, chicken, steak, salmon, vegetables, no sugar, no carbs, basically. It's really great. No, I've been having nuts too. Nuts aren't great, but I've been having just plain nuts. It worked. I'm not hungry at all. I tell you, I lost all my cravings. I'm not hungry. I feel great. I lost 3 pounds already, and I just feel like I'm less bloated, and I definitely feel like the voice is clearer. You know, that's the thing. When you're singing 4 times a week, all this stuff goes together. Because if you've got a load of extra weight on you and you're standing up and playing the guitar, I mean, first of all, the guitar's sticking out a bit. That might be better because you can see your guitar better, right? But as you lose weight, everything's just easier. When you're moving, when you're setting up, when you're carrying stuff. So I like that. And I also like the fact it'll also help my voice as well. So that's what happened. She said there's nothing wrong with my left ear. She says that will go away. It's just a bit of pain. I think she's right. You just get paranoid about this stuff. I did turn my in-ear monitors down for my shows because I don't want to make it too loud when I'm playing. So I'm not doing the fasting, Kevin. I'm basically eating when I want. Basically eating 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but not a lot. Well, actually, last time I did it, I was eating a lot. I was eating 4 eggs for breakfast, 4 chicken breasts for lunch, and a pound of salmon for dinner, and vegetables. So I was actually eating a ton of food in volume, and I still lost 10 pounds last time. So I think it's great. But anyway, it's not about the weight. I'm doing it for the voice. Well, I'm actually doing it for the weight, but I'm supposed to be doing it for my voice. And I do feel like it's helping the voice as well. So I think all these things are important. Drinking lots of water, doing steam, tongue scraper, and a clean diet if you want your voice to be at its absolute top. Now, that's not for everyone because some people don't have any yeast. And if you don't have any yeast in your body or very little amounts, you might not need to do any kind of special diet. So no one wants to see the picture, so I'm just going to show it anyway. Okay. Let me see here. It's funny, I watched back the old video of this on my channel and I was like, I sound so different back then. I was talking like this. Hi, this is Aaron. I'm going to show you the picture of my vocal cords. And now I speak like this. I'm Aaron. I'm going to show you the picture of my vocal cords. It's really weird. Let me know as well if you've ever had this done. I think it's really. I tell you what. I wish I could do this at home. I wish I could scope my voice at home. That'd be awesome. So. Huh. I don't see my. What happened to my download? Oh, they're there. Okay, here we go. No. So if you don't want to see. If you don't want to see this, look away. It's not disgusting. It's just, it might make you squirm a little bit. There we go. So that's pretty good. If you look at that, it's a bit blurry because I took a picture of a picture. But you can see the shininess. That's what I'm trying to get rid of. That kind of that shininess. I mean, of course, there's going to be a layer of, they're not going to be dried out. So they're going to be a bit shiny, but you could see as I was singing that there was some stickiness. What you look for is between those two chords in the middle. You could see the lines, which is the stickiness, right? That's really the stickiness. You don't want that there. They need to have a layer over them, or then they're not going to be moist, right? And then if you look at the very bottom, you might not see it on your phone, but basically the very bottom, and I think the top maybe as well, but the very bottom is like redness, and that's where I've pushed too much. If you push too much for too long, it can cause long-term problems. I think if you push occasionally, it's okay. But obviously, you don't really want that. The problem with a scan like this is you don't know how it is later on. So I don't know how this is today, right? Because this was done on Tuesday, and the things can change within a day or less. So there you go. So for anyone that was interested, that's what happened at the ENT. All right, awesome. So let me know if you've got any last questions. This week I'll have the news again on Friday. I'm doing that every week now. I really enjoy doing it. I take notes all throughout the week of what's been released and what the rumors are, software updates, hardware updates, and I put them in Friday's news that releases around Friday afternoon, New York time. And if you hear about anything as well, please write in the comments of one of those videos that you've heard about something, because that happened last week. Someone mentioned the NUX pedal, and I'd not heard about it, so I included that in the news as well. That worked out really well. That was really cool. And I do have some plans this week. I have a video I need to get made, and then of course all the ones that I mentioned today that I need to get made as well. So my schedule these days is Monday live stream, just general Hangout Q&A. Friday, that news thing that's recorded, pre-recorded and quite short. And then during the week, release at least one recorded video, which is a review, a demo, or some kind of topic, which is pre-recorded during the week, at least one. So that's 3 videos a week. That's the goal. That's the goal for this year anyway. I think there might be some other stuff as well, but nothing that I'll talk about today. Call Robin Boucher. He'll provide you with a Boucher. Great guy. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to try one. What happens with me is I'm in complete split minds about this stuff, Jasper, because part of me, I always say this, part of me loves the name brands, right? So there's always going to be that in my head. But I'm also aware that a lot of the big name brands are made in big factories in large numbers, and the smaller makers like Sir have less people, less guitars, more time for quality control and to focus on the instrument. So that's what I battle with all the time. Like, I have a Sir, it's currently being repaired by them, but I have this Sir that is amazing, but I want to play the Fender. I just can't help it. And then the Fender is great too. That's the thing. A lot of people will say, well, they're just factory made now, they're too expensive. No, I don't really agree with that. I still think that the American Pro 2 series from Fender and the Martin standard line are some of the best instruments that you can play. Definitely. The best. They're amazing. They're great. I could happily play an American Pro 2 Strat and a Martin OM28 or similar forever. I'd be fine with that. Actually, that's probably what I should do. But I think a part of that is that I've played those necks, those guitars for many years. I already have that imprinted in my mind. If I was starting today, would I feel the same? Do you get used to a neck? Is that why I love those so much? Because I played those for like 3-5 years solid and didn't play much else, that I got used to that? I don't know. I think they're very good. And why wouldn't they be? A company like those companies that have been around that many years have had that long to refine the necks on their guitars. Of course, all the feedback they must get from players and artists with the amount of scope they have, they must get. They've got the R&D, haven't they? They've had the time to develop these things. If the Fender and the Martin necks were not good on the standard series, there'd be a real problem, because you'd be like, well, you've had on many years to perfect the neck on your guitars, so why are they not the best around? I think they're the best around. But like I said, I haven't played all the other manufacturers. I played a Loudon the other week at Rudy's. I did play that. I played the no, not a Santa Cruz. The ones that are like Martin guitars. It just didn't compare to the Martin in any way. The Santa Cruz, no, not Santa Cruz. There's so many, aren't there? The one I told you earlier that I played that I really liked. I like that guitar, but you know, look, not all Martins are great. Not all. No brand has 100% track record of great guitars. Definitely, you have to find one that speaks to you and sounds good. You know, and I don't believe there's like duds in guitars, but sometimes you get like the setup's not quite right. And do you want to bother with getting it right, or can you ever quite get it how you want? And then some guitars you just pick up and you're like, this is great. This just works, right? This just works for me, which is a nice thing too. So ultimately, it's your decision. I still struggle with it. Part of my brain says you should be playing boutique instruments that are hand built by one person to your specifications, and part of me thinks you should be playing instruments that you grew up with. That's why you love like the guitars that Noel Gallagher plays. You know, because you grew up watching him play those guitars. And is there anything wrong with that? I do find that inspiring to a certain level, that I'm playing what he plays. Although lately I've been playing the Cole Clark, and none of my heroes, I don't think, played Cole Clark. I just play it because it sounds good for the application I use it for. And ultimately, I think that's what we need to get to. One reason I do the channel and always listen at gigs, what people say to me about the guitar, is that I'm trying to research rather than just go through endless guitars like I used to. I still do, I suppose, but I'm trying to figure out. So the thing about the Cole Clark is, no matter what I want, if I want to change that to a Martin or something else, the proof is there for me. The people at the shows have told me over and over and over again that that guitar sounds amazing. And of course I feel the same, but they've reinforced it. And on this live stream, when I did the live stream concerts and things, or the demos and reviews, you know, when I feel like this guitar sounds really good and I play it on the stream and someone says that guitar sounds really good, then I'm like, yeah, this guitar sounds really good. So I know it sounds really good. And the sound ultimately for me is the most important thing, the sound and the feel, of course. But honestly, I could quite happily just play this guitar. This guitar does the great thing with this guitar is it does sound really good acoustic, and it does sound really good plugged in, as you can hear. Whereas many guitars don't meet that criteria. They're either excellent plugged in and not that great unplugged, or average, or they're really excellent unplugged and average plugged in. This guitar ticks both boxes for me. And also, the action never changes. So I happen to really like this action on this guitar a lot. And it will never change because it's carbon fiber. Then it brings you into the argument, the discussion of, should I play a tube amp or a modeler? Well, with a tube amp, that's a real tube amp. But with a modeler, it's much more convenient and everything's in one box. You can show up and do the gig and go home. With a tube amp, you're going to have to replace the tubes, rebias it, maintain it. But to you, it sounds better, then you should probably play that. It's a very personal thing to decide. Boucher's very boutique, no mass production, top grade wood. Yeah, but does that matter? Does that? It's the opposite argument, isn't it? Rather than talk about, well, the Martins are made in the factory, mass produced, because the Boucher is handmade, top grade wood and hand selected and everything. Does that mean that it'll be a better guitar? I mean, only you can decide that when you play them back to back. I think the Yamaha guitars are the best value guitars for the money, and I recommend them to absolutely everybody. But I'm not playing one regularly. Doesn't work for me. But they are, you know, on paper and everything about them and sound, everything about them is an A. Everything excellent. But I don't want to play them. And it's just a lot of people talking lately about guitars that are made abroad or guitars that are cheaper. You know, we don't need expensive guitars now because the affordable guitars are so good. You know, honestly, I still want to play. I mean, I don't need to play a $10,000 guitar, but I don't want to play a $500 Squier. Even though I know it will sound and play as good as an American Professional 2, I want to play an American Professional 2. So is that bad? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Anyway, I shall say goodnight. We'll do this again next week. Let me know what you want to talk about. I like this. I just like this kind of random hangout, to be honest. I hope if it works, doesn't it? I might start playing the guitar a little bit more, but we'll see where it goes. I'd like to talk more about gigs and songs and singing, but I don't know if you're into that. Maybe you just want to talk about guitars. So watch out for my video this week. Subscribe. I haven't done any promotion today. Subscribe and ring the bell if you're new here. It really helps me out. And also, check out my t-shirt, Soundhole Sniffer, link below. If you're shopping this week on Amazon, Reverb, or Sweetwater, do me a favor, click the link below in the description and I'll get affiliate commission, which will help me make more videos in the future. And watch out for my video this week. What will it be? You don't know, because I haven't decided yet. So let's wait and see. And I'll leave you with this chord, our favorite chord. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a great week. I'll see you soon. And take care and be well. Later. Oh. Thank you, Rosanna. Appreciate your time. Thanks for helping me out. Really appreciate it. And Lee, see you soon, buddy.
At midnight, wear your high heels, your red dress, and your smile. You look just like this other girl I knew. She was beautiful, and if you want to, maybe we